Our instinctive, unconscious wiring is not always what we need to thrive, right? So our default programming is survival, but we need to actually work with our nervous systems to point ourselves in the direction of thriving. Hello! I'm so excited to be kicking off this 7-part series. I love the number 7. It is a spiritual number. It is a cosmic number. And this series is inviting you into your next level of financial pleasure, peace, and prosperity. So I'm going to take you through 7 episodes, solo episodes. They're, 20 minutes-ish, give or take, that are each a snippet that's going to give you your next step to expand your abundance in a pleasurable, embodied way. Are you excited? I'm excited. So welcome to this series. This is episode 1 of the series, and I'll see you for the rest of them as well. Welcome to Plenty. I'm your host, Kate Northrup, and together we are going on a journey to help you have an incredible relationship with money, time, and energy, and to have abundance on every possible level. Every week, we're going to dive in with experts and insights to help you unlock a life of plenty. Let's go fill our cups. Lately, I have had to make the same correction over and over again with various folks who don't work daily within our company, but are like adjacent doing various things. They keep wanting to talk about money mindset and that my work is about money mindset. And quite frankly, it drives me bananas. And I'm going to tell you why today, because I think it's important for all of us who are healing our relationship with money to get why focusing only on money mindset is doing us all a disservice. Number 1, I will say this. When we say, oh, you just have a money mindset problem, like, oh, the reason you don't have the money you want is because you have a mindset issue, that is not factoring in systemic oppression, privilege, years and years of disenfranchisement, disempowerment, purposefully and unpurposefully of all sorts of marginalized folks. So I just want to say off the bat, like sometimes someone doesn't have a money mindset problem. Sometimes it's actually systemic inequities at play. So when we talk about money mindset work, it can kind of like gloss over all of that. So that's number 1. Number 2, by the time we have a conscious thought about anything, there has been an entire cacophony of physiological things happening in our body to create that conscious thought, which we are aware we are having with our prefrontal cortex, with our cognition. And most of everything that is happening under the surface is completely unconscious. So it's not really a matter of like, oh, I just need to change my mindset. Like, yes, sometimes it is as easy as someone giving you a reframe and you realizing like, oh, I could just change my perspective and then I can change, right? Like that Wayne Dyer quote, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, which is true, right? Like that's the fundamental basis of mindset work. It's true. It's just not enough. Why? Because if you were to look at the way we work as humans, like the way our brains work, the way our behavior is created, our entire mindset, it's like an iceberg, right? And the mind, the part we're actually conscious of, is the tip of the iceberg above that little surface. And then below the surface of the water is this like freaking gargantuan, monstrous bottom of the iceberg that is way bigger than what's sticking out above the surface. So I'm not bashing Wayne. I loved Wayne. May he rest in peace. But I am saying that our current research has caught us up to the understanding that there's a lot more going on. And when we work with the piece that's the lot more going on, we actually get sustainable transformation more effectively than if we're just trying to do mindset work. So if you're listening to this and you've been doing mindset work for years, like you've been excavating your beliefs and you've been trying to change your thoughts and you've been trying to change the way you look at things, but things have not changed, it is probably because you don't understand or haven't been taught about the way our brain and nervous system actually work. So I'm going to give you a brief neuroscience lesson. If you've been around for a while, this might be review, but good news, pretty much no one I know learned this in school, so we need to hear it a few times in order to remember it and in order for it to become a part of us. We can understand things, that's lovely, we can hear things, but it doesn't really matter unless we are actually using them, right? Okay, so by the time you get to quote unquote mindset work, which to me is just change a thought, right? By the time you've actually gotten to, oh, I'm aware I am thinking to this thought, what's happened is you are having your neural programming work in an unconscious way that has led you to a particular emotion, that has led you to a particular thought that, of course, creates beliefs over time and then also behaviors. So by the time we get to a thought, there's been a whole bunch of things happening in our nervous systems. Our nervous systems are the electrical wiring of our brain and body. And our nervous system is constantly in communication with our brain. Our nervous system and our brain are really part of each other. Our brain is part of the nervous system. So when I speak about the nervous system, it's not only the body, right? It's the brain and body. It's all one thing. And we need to use both in order to get the most sustainable changes. So my problem with mindset work is it is just super surface and it perpetuates the lie that we are brains on a stick. Right? It perpetuates the mind-body split. It perpetuates and continues the devaluation of the body, of our felt sensational experience. And I think at the root cause of most of our human issues is our deep, unprocessed feelings and traumas, because of the profound devaluation of the felt experience in the body. And so when I talk about the body, it's to bring back, it's to reintegrate the importance of the lived experience of a human being who is living in a body and how valuable that is to give us the directions to our own pathway to healing. Now, something I hear people say, which really I don't like also, is that we are just souls here living in this meat suit. And I'm just like, oh, for the love of God, A, that's gross. And B, that perpetuates the devaluation of a body. If I am calling this beautiful vessel a meat suit, am I not instantly devaluing it? Am I not continuing the false hierarchy of the spirit and the psyche over the physical? I am. Yes, obviously, these bodies are going to expire. We're going to die. You know, our hearts will stop beating, we'll stop breathing, and then we are, I believe, still a soul, and we'll go on to, God knows what, our next thing, right? But in the meantime, I believe we are here in a body for a reason. I believe there's a particular technology that we were birthed into in this physical incarnation because we're meant to use it, not transcend it. And I guess at the end of the day, that's why the term mindset work and money mindset work really rubs me the wrong way, because it feels like it is fundamentally devaluing and leaving out what I have found has been the most important factor or ingredient in my journey of healing, which is embodiment. And so it bugs me. So how can we actually have the transformation with our finances that we're after when we are doing money mindset work, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to work on my money mindset. Well, what you're trying to do there is change your financial reality, right? Have more abundance. Have more money in your bank account. Get better at saving. Get more conscious about your spending. become a savvy investor, steward your wealth better, maybe give more to charities, maybe create intergenerational wealth, heal some lineage patterns, right? So those things I think are what we're after when it comes to money mindset. But how can we actually bring our bodies to the table to use the incredible technology that we were born with to heal in more effective ways? Well, this may or may not be a surprise to you. I don't know, maybe you're new here. But the way that I teach about that is through a neuroscience-based approach to using the nervous system to heal at a root level, because mitigating all of our behavior, mitigating all of our beliefs, mitigating all of our thoughts and our emotions is our nervous system. And our nervous system is being directed by past experiences that were emotional in nature. And our nervous system gets stuck in particular patterning because there were moments in our lives that we didn't have the resources, support, or understanding or capacity to fully process and metabolize an emotion. And so it got stuck in our body. Also, our brains and nervous systems are constantly sifting and sorting for threat so that we can survive, because we are animals. And our animal nature is to survive and carry on the species. Like, that's really how we are wired at the end of the day. And so, yeah, like, we're here reading novels and memoirs and like doing Sudoku and learning how to knit and eating fancy dinners and doing whatever it is we're doing. But like, ultimately, what's really going on here is we are animals trying to perpetuate the species. That's how we are wired. And so we're constantly sorting and sifting for threat, and we are organized around survival. So evolutionarily speaking, our nervous systems, again, which include the brain, are always gathering information for like, ooh, that happened and then I felt unsafe. Or that happened and then somebody yelled at me. That happened and someone withdrew their love. That happened and then I felt lonely. That happened and then I ended up doing XYZ, right? So like, think about all the data you have gathered unconsciously, wired into your body's electrical system, which is your nervous system and your brain. And all of that data has wired in your lived experience so far in terms of what it means to be human and what it takes to survive. So that's great. It's been working, because how do we know? Because you're alive. So far, so good. But the thing is that our instinctive, unconscious wiring is not always what we need to thrive, right? So our default programming is survival, but we need to actually work with our nervous systems to point ourselves in the direction of thriving. And so that's where nervous system work comes in. That's where neural repatterning comes in. And what's so cool about it is that when we practice nervous system healing, when we practice neural repatterning, when it is based in what we actually know creates lasting change, the mindset shifts on its own. So it's like you get new thoughts, new behaviors, new beliefs on your own, like by default, by accident. You don't even have to do anything about it. It is an automatic mindset refresh when you do your nervous system work, because when you change your neural patterning, you automatically change your thoughts. So that's the way to change the way you look at things. The way to change the way you look at things, thank you, Wayne, is to repattern your nervous system, repattern your brain, your wiring, so that you're automatically looking at things in a new way, and you're automatically having a quote unquote mindset of abundance, which actually needs to start in your brain and in your body, not just in your prefrontal cortex cognition that you're aware of. Because actually, we can't really create lasting change from the place of only conscious thought, because when we try to change at the level of consciousness in which we created the problem to begin with. We just recreate the problem. So we need to go deeper, pull things up by the roots, repattern way, way, way deep under the surface of the iceberg, if you will, and then the mindset shifts happens automatically. So thank you for listening to my riff on my problem with mindset work. I hope this resonated. And if nothing else, it will help you to understand more of what you're going to get if you stick around Plenty and our other spaces. Thank you so much for listening. Happy repatterning. I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to this episode of Plenty. If you enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe, leave a rating, leave a review. That's one of the best ways that you can ensure to spread the abundance of plenty with others. You can even text it to a friend and tell them to listen in. And if you want even more support to expand your abundance, head over to katenorthrup.com/breakthroughs, where you can grab my free money breakthrough guide that details the biggest money breakthroughs from some of the top earning women I know, plus a mini lesson accompanying it with my own biggest money breakthroughs and a nervous system healing tool for you to expand your abundance. Again, that's over at katenorthrup.com/breakthroughs. See you next time.